Henry Hunter, the famous kid explorer and archaeologist, was in search of a lost city before his plane crashed in the Gobi Desert. The rescue plane you sent to northern China enabled him to continue his adventure. Henry had discovered this so-called lost city on an old pirate map he found while working in the archives of the Smithsonian's Natural History Museum in Washington, D.C. He hoped that his expedition would bring back valuable artifacts to display at the museum's new exhibit on the civilizations of the ancient world. The pirate map suggested that the lost city was located on a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. The rescue plane took Henry from China and flew him to the city of Cairo, Egypt. From there, he sailed north on the Nile River and into the blue waters of the Mediterranean. He sailed through the day and into the night. Henry awoke the next morning to see the coast of southern Europe in the distance. He had reached the X on the map but saw nothing but blue waters surrounding his boat. He double-checked the map to make sure that his coordinates were correct, but the island had vanished. Disappointed and alone, Henry tossed the anchor into the water and went below deck to get some much-needed rest. Henry was in a deep sleep when the boat suddenly jerked to one side. He scrambled in the darkness to get his balance when another hit almost turned the ship completely over. Henry ran up to the deck only to see the disturbance disappear as a small ripple under the surface. He convinced himself that the boat must have hit a submerged rock. He thought twice about getting into the dark and mysterious waters, but he decided to put his scuba gear on to inspect the damage below. Henry slowly dropped into the cold water. He took the first breath of air from his scuba tank and exhaled a mass of bubbles. Rocks were nowhere to be seen, but he did notice a pink snake wrapped around the boat's anchor on the ocean floor. Henry swam down to about 30 feet and poked the snake with his scuba knife. He jumped when the snake jerked and quickly pulled away. The snake stretched for several feet to a large shadow lurking in the distance. Henry froze in terror when he realized the snake was actually the tip of a long tentacle connected to a giant red octopus. The water darkened as the red giant rose from the ocean floor. Its massive arms were as large as the boat. Henry held his breath and swam behind a coral reef for safety. He breathed a sigh of relief when a circling school of fish lured the octopus away. Henry was about to return to the surface when he noticed a long cylinder-shaped rock covered in algae. With the octopus gone, he decided to investigate a little more. He wiped away the green slime to reveal a large column carved out of marble. He wondered how such a large man-made artifact could have ended up in the ocean. Henry swam a little further and soon discovered more columns and a majestic statue of a lion. These were the ruins of an ancient city. This was it! The island on the pirate map must have been covered by the rising waters of the Mediterranean Sea. The statues were too heavy to bring to the surface, so Henry gathered a few artifacts to investigate on the deck of the boat. Who were the ancient people who once lived here? And which of these artifacts should he display as the centerpiece of the new exhibit at the museum? Which of these artifacts is the most important? Which one symbolizes and represents the ancient civilization you have studied in class? Now it's your turn to decide. Time to get to work.